Hey guys, here's my video as promised on how to make keto tortillas. Well, my way. I based it off of another person's recipe and then I tweaked it to the way I like it. So hopefully you guys like it. So this is what you're gonna need to gather up. You're gonna need some kosher salt. The kosher salt you're gonna need is 1/4 of a teaspoon. You're gonna need some water. You're gonna need 3 teaspoons of that. You're going to need apple cider vinegar. That is 2 teaspoons. You're gonna need cream of tartar. That's 1/2 teaspoon. You need baking soda. That is also 1/2 teaspoon. Or if you don't have either of these, but you have baking powder, then you need 1 teaspoon of baking powder instead. Then you're gonna need, I don't know how you pronounce this, but Xanthan Gum. The brand I have is called Bob's Red Mill. Now the almond flour, that really depends on you know, what your individual likes are. I like one that's finely ground. This is the very first one I ever used. It's almost empty, so I'm not gonna use it in this recipe. This one is a really good brand, except your tortillas are gonna turn out a lot darker, okay? I just used this almond flour brand just yesterday. And please excuse my nails, I need a manicure. But this one actually liked better than this one. So, and this is from Walmart of all places. So, and it's pretty inexpensive as well. And I loved how my tortillas tasted even better than before. So you are gonna need some parchment paper. You can use saran wrap, but I prefer press and seal. So grab some of that. Of course, you're gonna need a food processor. You can't use your blender. You have to use a food processor unless you're really good at mixing stuff with your hands, but it's best to try to do it really quickly. If you have one of those whisks with that machine, if you think that'll work, then more power to you. But for the sake of this recipe, we're gonna use a food processor, and make sure it's completely dry with no drops of water, because that can affect the consistency of the dough. You are going to need a what do you call this, Mike, in English? I guess a tortilla holder. It's a simple one. I actually got a Mexican meat market. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon. I doubt they're going to sell it at Walmart, but if they do, Walmart's probably going to have a different version. I like the way this one is and the way it's made, because it keeps the tortillas warm longer. This right here is a lifesaver. It is a tortilla press, yes. And thank you for your help. And this tortilla press pretty much saves me a ton of time making these tortillas. So it's really heavy. I got this at a Mexican meat market for about 12 bucks. I'm sure you'll probably find this on Amazon as well. You will not find this at Walmart, at least not at my Walmart. I live in Katy, Texas. You're gonna need 4 measuring spoons. One, you need a tablespoon one, you need a teaspoon one, and you need a 1/2 teaspoon, and you're gonna need a 1/4 cup one, and you're gonna be mixing a few things in here, so we'll get to that later. Okay. But I'm back. Here is the coconut flour. I use organic coconut flour, that's Sprouts brand. I don't know if you have a Sprouts where you live, but I do, and I'm sure it doesn't matter the brand as long as it's finely ground. You're gonna need 1.5 tablespoons of coconut flour. Now, one last thing you will need is, I'm not sure how you say this in English, but it's called, in Spanish, I know it, I grew up, I'm from Texas, I grew up with this being known as a comal. This is a piece of crap one that I have, and I have a funny story, pretty much. Long story short, my husband bought this for me, this comal, I guess as you call it in English, a skillet, babe? Okay, got this skillet. 10 bucks, and it weighs around the same as my other one. And look, just one use already made it all ugly in the back, and it actually burned my first 2 tortillas that I was heating up yesterday from that batch. And I was about to throw this one away, but I'm glad I didn't. This piece of crap is older than my 16-year-old son, and it does the tortillas better. So yes, the kind of skillet or comal you have actually does make a difference. My husband saw it with his own eyes, how my tortillas were burning even on a low heat setting. This piece of crap. Do not buy this piece of crap $10. It's, hold on, let me see the brand. Imusa brand. Avoid it, okay? Try to get one from like, I don't know if there's any Hispanic food mart around where you live, or a Mexican meat market, or even try Target. I bet Target would have better brand stuff. So I got this, I think, at Walmart 16, 17 years ago. So, and the brand to this one is Tefal, and it still works like a champ. So anyway, one more ingredient. These are egg whites. I don't use an actual egg. I don't separate the egg white from the egg yolk because, you know, not all eggs are the same size, and I just don't like messing with that when it comes to tortillas. One little bit extra can screw it all up and make the consistency go off. So I buy this one. This is a local brand from a supermarket here that's pretty famous in South Texas. But these, you can use any brand, real egg whites, okay? You're gonna need 1/8 of a cup of this, okay? So let's get started. Okay, so first I'm gonna take the almond flour. Again, I got this at Walmart, of all places. And yes, Walmart does cater to keto people, even though unknowingly they do, but I actually get a lot of my stuff from Walmart, and yes, I do read labels. So, like I said, we need 6 3/4 of a tablespoon. So 6 3/4 of these. So here's 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 4, 5. Make sure they're level spoons, okay? 6. Now, since it's 3/4, I don't want to waste time getting a different measuring thing. So see, look what I did here. I left a little bit like empty here so it can be like 3/4. So there you go. Being just a tad bit off isn't going to really affect the consistency, but being a lot off will. So a little bit won't really mess with it. So I'm done with that. Now I'm going to do the coconut flour. I got this at a place just like Whole Foods. It's Sprouts. I know not all towns have it. I'm sure you can get coconut flour at Walmart too, but I had already bought it at Sprouts. And it was actually a little bit cheaper than Walmart, so I do remember that much. Sprouts is like the cheap version of Whole Foods, right? Don't you agree?
Yeah.
So anyway, for this, I'm gonna need just this. The only reason I use coconut flour is for the same reason the other lady I got a similar recipe from, where I learned how to do this, and I kind of did it my own way. She said that this is only to give the charred look of the tortillas, you know, the little black spots. That's the only reason. You're getting most of the flavor from the almond flour. So I've never tried to do it without this. I could try and see if it still tastes the same if some of you guys are like allergic to coconut. So anyway, so you just need 1.5 of tablespoons of this. So here's 1, and then 1/2 is the same thing. Just kind of I kind of eyeball things with all my cooking when it comes to not wasting another spoon. So here's 1/2 of that. Okay, so I'm done with the coconut flour. Next is and you can laugh at me if you want to, I don't know how it's pronounced, but the Xanthan Gum, how do you think it's pronounced, babe?
Xanthan Gum?
I put the bag that starts with the letter X, okay? You're gonna take this and you're gonna get 2 teaspoons. So you're gonna take I need to try to find my teaspoon. Okay, here's a 1 teaspoon. Don't laugh at my little measuring things. They're little tasty brand ones I got from Walmart. I buy stuff from Walmart a lot, obviously. They should pay me a commission for as much as I've been mentioning Walmart. here lately. So you need 2 teaspoons of this. So there's 1. Again, level teaspoons, okay? 2. Okay. And then next is going to be, now remember how I talked to you about how to use baking soda and cream of tartar? Well, I'm not a big fan of baking powder, but if you absolutely don't have any of these, you can use baking powder. Baking powder pretty much, as long as you use the organic kind, is usually, you know, I'm sorry, not this. Where is it? Here it is. It's half baking soda and half cream of tartar anyway, so might as well use the baking powder. If you can use baking powder, use 1 teaspoon. But I don't have baking powder, and I choose not to use baking powder. So I am gonna do half a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, so there's half a teaspoon of the baking soda. And then I'm gonna get the cream of tartar. I got this, I think, at HEB, which is, again, a supermarket here in South Texas. I think they just built one in Dallas, or they're about to open one in Dallas. I'm not sure about that. They're expanding. They have a lot of good stuff. When I read the labels, it doesn't have half the crap that a lot of these other brands have. Anyway, this is half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. I think I'm pronouncing it right. I'm pretty sure, because I think I've heard other people on TV say it like that. So now I'm gonna, before I add the apple cider vinegar and all that other stuff that I told you about, I wanna mix this. Now I just want to give you a disclaimer. I have a Black & Decker food processor. Hopefully you guys spent more money than me. So I was a cheapskate. You know, I got 5 kids, so I have an excuse. But this was only 29 bucks, babe, something like that. Yeah. It turned out to be a piece of crap. I'm gonna explain why. So zoom in, babe. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it on. It's worth paying extra for your food processor, and I will show you why right now. So I'm mixing it. Right there, it's not mixing in the center. I don't like that. And I'm gonna repeat what I said. It's not mixing in the center very well, so I have to literally bang it like an idiot, you know, to get it to mix. And it makes me so mad. You have to make sure also your food processor is dry. Okay, now I mixed it up. I mixed all those ingredients up. Now we have to get the liquid stuff squared away. Let me go ahead and bring all that over here. Okay, so again, like I said, I use egg whites, not egg yolk. It's huge difference when it comes to the consistency of the tortilla. Don't skimp on the measurements. Don't eyeball this, because that can affect everything, okay? So I'm gonna do 1/8 cup, but I'm gonna do it in a 1/4 cup. This one's really cool, because as you can see, even though it's a 1/4 cup here, it says 1/8 cup right there. So put 1/8 cup of egg white. And then I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So I'm gonna put it in the measuring cup, okay, to make things easier. So that's 1. It has such a strong smell, apple cider vinegar. I'm not a big fan of the smell, but it's great for cooking. And then I'm gonna get the water. I'm weird. I don't like to use water from the tap. So hopefully some of you guys are the same way as me. If not, and you think I'm a weirdo, more power to you. But okay, for the water, it's going to be 3 teaspoons of water. So that's 1, 2. Don't overdo it on the water either. My husband has seen me make several batches, and it took me a few of them, right, babe, to get it exactly the way I wanted them. So I'm very picky about this. So again, I have a piece of crap food processor. You may not have to do the banging like I do, but I have to, because I have to make sure it's, you know, it's blending really well. So, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover it up. and just blend it. I'm gonna pull this out. I have been the idiot that actually puts it like that with forgetting that it doesn't go through. I don't use food processors very much. I just bought this here recently ever since starting keto. So I'm gonna start this and I'm gonna start pouring slowly. Here's the thing, you won't be able to hear me when I do this. It is important to let the food processor do its thing. You're gonna hear it probably go boom, 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 but that's normal, okay? It's gonna pretty much ball up, okay? I'm gonna have a little bit of issues. I may have to bang, hopefully you don't. So let's do this, and we're gonna put it in slowly, okay? Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before we put it in, I almost forgot. You need some salt. Gotta make. You can do either 1/8 or 1/4. Where is my 1/4? I don't have my 1/4. I don't think I took it out, so I'm gonna put half of a 1/2 here. Okay. Oops. That just gives the tortillas a little salty taste. So anyway, okay. Now let's mix it. Okay, now I'm going to turn this on and pour it slowly, okay? Until it balls up. Looks good enough to me. I hate my food processor. Please don't skimp on a food processor. Pay the extra money. There was a $79 one I was this close to getting, and I regret it, but I already bought it, so I might as well make the best of it until I make a little extra money. I have a little shop on Etsy. Hopefully I'll have a good month, and I will buy myself a bad, well, I'm not gonna say a bad word, but I'm gonna make myself a really good food processor. You take the press and seal. You can use saran wrap. I prefer press and seal. I don't know why I just do. Okay. You're gonna take the press and seal. You're gonna put it over here or wherever it is you want to work. Hold on, let me grab a paper towel real quick and clean up here. It's only got some apple cider vinegar there. Okay. So you're gonna grab it. Make sure you don't cut yourself with the blade from the food processor. Okay. This is enough to make about 7 and 9 tortillas. It really depends how big you make them. When I say tortillas, I mean those little mini ones, those cute little mini ones like the, you know, like Mexican culture does. My stepmother's Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican, but I love me some tortillas. So my stepmother knows how to make all sorts of tortillas by hand, and you know, when you're in a diet like this, you miss tortilla, but you know, it took me a lot of practice to get this the way I like it, because my stepmother's such a picky person. She taught me to be picky too. But you're gonna get this, you're gonna wrap it around, and you're just gonna go like that a little bit, okay? Now, another lady said to let this sit, but honestly, letting it sit isn't gonna help the situation, okay? So I wanna start here pretty soon. But if you absolutely wanna let it sit, I guess for the sake of this instructional video, I'll let it sit. So I will be back with you in about, I would say, 5 minutes. I'm gonna turn on the comal, AKA skillet, and I will be back. I'm actually about to start messing with the tortilla, but before I do that, I put this on like a medium to medium low heat. If you have a gas stove, that's what it's gonna look like, okay? And don't make fun of my comal, okay? It's over 16 years old, but it does an awesome job, and you'll see why. Okay, I have the tortilla press here. This is awesome, but I'm gonna try to convince you why you should get a tortilla press as opposed to doing this the old-fashioned way. So I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way just for kicks. So you can see how complex it can be. Okay, so you take a piece of parchment paper, you're gonna put it down here. Okay, and you're gonna press it down with your palm, and then of course, I'm gonna have this luck when I'm sitting here trying to make a video for y'all. You're gonna take this, what's this called, a roller? I'm not a big baker. I do more cooking than baking. My roller sucks, by the way, but you see how I'm having a difficult time already? So yeah, and see how it's all getting sticky and stuff? Yeah, this isn't gonna work for me. So, in a situation like this, you're gonna take some extra almond flour. You're gonna put it in your fingers, okay? And so that it won't get stuck to this like you saw it just happened to me. And when you're gonna be rolling it out with this, and if you want a perfect circle, you just take the bowl, like a little kid's bowl, and you put it on there. And that's how I did it the first times. I actually just bought this tortilla press a few days ago. So it was really inexpensive at a Mexican meat market. It was 12 bucks, like 11 or 12 bucks. But I'm gonna show you the difference, okay, of that. See how difficult that was, and hold on. You get a ball about like this, maybe this, this is like what, an inch and a half, babe?
Yeah.
Are you thinking? Okay, you're gonna take a piece of parchment paper with your tortilla press. And just try to this is just for the sake of it not sticking. You're gonna put it on the bottom part. I'll flip it the other way. Okay, so you're gonna just go like this. Come around. All right, yeah. I'll do it this way. You see how nice and circular this came out? And boom, it came out. So I'm gonna put them right here for now while the comal is heating up. Okay, so I finished the tortillas, like pressing them with my tortilla press. I make little ones. This is the size of my hand. I have a little hand. They're pretty little because I love mini tacos. Makes me feel like I'm eating more of them. If you want to make them bigger, more power to you. Okay, but I like little ones. So my comal's already heated up, medium to medium low. I'm gonna put them down. I already have my my tortilla warmer ready to go with a paper towel. And I'm just gonna start with 2 to make sure that the temperature is right. You can tell that the temperature is too hot if it starts getting black spots too early. The black spots are coming mainly from the coconut flour to give it that charred look. But you see how you can already move it? You can use a spatula, but see, I'm used to using my hand because, again, my stepmother is Mexican and she taught me how to do this right way. I'm just gonna let that sit for a little bit. It is a little bit on the warmer side, so I'm gonna lower it a little bit. I have 3 different gomans like this, and they're all the same brand. So I must have bought them around the same time. But just let them heat up a little. Again, you can make these bigger. If you don't like the itty bitty ones, you know, that's perfectly okay. But you see how they're pliable? Look, you can bend them and you can make them into tacos, okay? So, there you go. This time I'm gonna put more in there. I just wanted to make sure that the temperature was right. Again, you can use a spatula. If it was my husband doing this, I promise you he would be using a spatula, right?
A long spatula.
He's scared of the stove, just like a lot of men. So, actually, be careful not to leave it too long because you don't want the coconut powder to like scorch your tortillas. Again, that horrible comal that I got, this one that I told you a gazillion times not to get from Walmart. It makes this so black so quickly. I'm talking about within seconds. It doesn't matter how low this thing is. It is horrible. I'm just checking them to check. You want to make sure you leave them long enough because remember there's egg white in here, okay? You want the egg white to cook completely. So And again, you can use a cheap command. It'll still achieve the exact same result. The first two came out kind of small, I realize, compared to I think because those were the last two that I did. That's probably why they came out small, now that I'm thinking about it. But here's the last two. And again, you just wait a few seconds and you can actually move it around after a few seconds, you see? Don't be afraid to use your fingers, just be very, very careful, okay? It helps make your life so much easier when you make tortillas, because when you're using a spatula, you're like going, you know, all over the place. It's just a big old mess. Okay, these are almost done. And there you go. That is how you make keto tortillas. And I'll try to see what the macros are for this. I'll have to literally add everything together from all the nutrition facts, but I'll try to do that for you guys later, okay? But sorry that it was a longer video, but hopefully it'll give you an idea of what to do. And I also wrote it out for you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout out, and I will help you out the best I can, okay? But here, let me just, before we go, I'm just gonna turn this off, and there you go. All these tortillas. This one made 8. I can make anywhere from 7 to 9 a batch. So there you go. Tortillas. And look how pliable they are. Look at that. You can fold them. So
and they're yummy.
Oh yes, that's another thing. A lot of people were asking me in the Facebook group, do they taste good? They may look pretty, but do they taste good? Yeah, and I'm telling you, my husband, he loves to eat and he loves tortillas. I did this mainly for both of us because I'm a taco lover. He actually loves burritos. I may surprise him one day and just use a big ball of that and just make him a burrito with it. So anyway.
And it does smell like regular tortillas.
You can't even tell.
You can't even tell. There is a smell to it, and it smells just like you're making regular tortillas.
Ooh, you want to smell? Well, too bad these people can't smell, but they will be able to once they make their own. Y'all take care. Okay, Hubs is adding a little bit of cheese to his. Say hi.
Hello.
But we're eating leftovers from last night with the tortillas we made. Hope you guys enjoyed my video and learned something out of it. And I'm sorry it's not perfect like other YouTube videos, but hey, I don't think it's bad for first time. Thanks. Take care.